In the Oxford Annotated Bible, 1 Peter 4:10 says, each one should use whatever gift he or she has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. Man worked at the post office. His job was to process all the mail that had illegible addresses. One day a letter came to his desk addressed in shaky handwriting to God. He thought, I'd better open this and see what it's all about. So he opened it and read it. Dear God, I am a 93-year-old widow living on a very small pension. Yesterday someone stole my purse. It had $100 in it, which was all the money I had until my next check. I have invited 2 of my friends over for dinner. Without that money, I have nothing to buy food with. I have no family to turn to, and you are my only hope. Can you please help me? Well, the postal worker was touched and went around showing the letter to all the others. Each of them dug into their wallet or purse, came up with a few dollars, and by the time he had made his rounds, he had collected $96, which they put in an envelope and sent to her. The rest of the day, all of the workers felt a warm glow thinking of the nice thing that they had done. A few days later came another letter from the lady addressed to God. All the workers gathered around while the letter was opened, and here's what it said. Dear God, how can I ever thank you enough for what you did for me? Because of your generosity, I was able to fix a lovely dinner for my friends. We had a very nice day, and I told my friends of your wonderful gift. By the way, there was $4 missing. It was no doubt those thieves at the post office. Even when we do good to others, we may not be properly appreciated, or we may even been accused of doing something wrong. Generally, however, there is a blessing in blessing others. And Proverbs 11:25 says, a generous person will prosper. He or she who refreshes others will be refreshed. We don't do good things for others in order to be blessed by God. We do good things for others because God has already blessed us and commands us to be servants of one another. But the side benefit is a continued blessing of God in our lives. Karl-Heinz Albrecht was a German entrepreneur who founded the discount supermarket chain Aldi with his brother Theo. Some of you know Aldi, and also Trader Joe's, which Aldi purchased. Anyway, among the richest men in the world, he was the wealthiest man in Germany. And he once said this, if you are not serving the customer, you'd better be serving someone who is. We can all be in the serving business. Quick to serve, to open doors, to greet, to say thank you and bless you, and quick to help. Here's a simple example. On Thursday, the bug man came to our house. He does that quarterly. And this year we seem to have a surplus of spiders and crickets. Anyway, he came, and while he was there, he told us of the joy in his life with the birth of his first son. Son was early and small, and they discovered he had heart problems which will require a surgery at Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. And he's concerned for that, of course. And he said to me, I would love to have that baby baptized before he goes for surgery. But I'm not sure our church will open its doors or the pastor will help. What a joy it was for me to say, I know a church that will open its doors, and I know a pastor who would love to baptize that baby. What a joy it is to have a chance to serve and not even know that it's going to happen because the bug guy came to call. All we have to do is open ourselves and we have a chance to serve. Let me give you another little example. This morning I came early to open up and I was going to unlock the front doors, and there was a man sitting on the steps. And he was wearing what looked like a biker's outfit. That is a competitive biker. And then I saw that there was a tandem bicycle out there. And I said good morning, and the back of his shirt said First Nazarene Church. And I said to him, I love First Nazarene Church, and I do because we've gone to a number of concerts there, but it's quite wonderful. And he said he and his wife were conditioning for a charity race that they're going to be involved in the fall. And he said they come from Wichita to Sedgwick, and then they were going over to Benton and then back home. Yeah, right. That's a challenge. And but because I had said, I love that church, he said, while we're going to Benton, we will pray for your church. How sweet. How sweet that we can do that for each other. A simple good morning. The opportunities are all around us. Fred Ratson writes, the more people you undertake to serve, the more effective you will be. Commit to serving everyone and become maximally effective. The way to make the greatest impact on a lost and dying world is to be a humble servant. That's why Mother Teresa was so effective. We all can do something to serve. One of the biggest lessons that we all need to remember is that God didn't put us here for us. God put us here, created us to be servants to one another. If Jesus came not to be served but to serve, then that should be the end of the matter. Philippians 2:3 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but to the interests of others. A woman wrote, when I lived in Los Angeles a few years back, the hardest thing for me to get used to was all the homeless people. I come from Iceland, and there we are lucky enough not to have the problem of homelessness. There is always help somewhere. It was hard for me to see these people walking around hungry and so poor. So every time I had to go to town, I would take some sandwiches with me to give to those who asked me for money or food. Well, one day I was coming off the freeway and a man came to my car and asked me for money. Well, not having any money with me, I had to turn him away. He looked at me with a smile and he said, can you say happy birthday, Joe? I sang him happy birthday and drove off. Then I went to the nearest store I could find and bought him a card. And I wrote a personal greeting in that, and I stopped by the bank and got some cash and put $30 in it. It took me a half an hour, but I did find him again. He was helping a man push a car, the car that had run out of fuel, and they were pushing it to the gas station. You know, one often assumes that homeless people do not give to the community at all, but Joe, given the chance, gave what he could, as I gave to him what I could. A little time of my day and a little card to say, I care. How's that for thinking of others? How's that for thinking of someone less fortunate? How's that for being a servant? Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. And we need to serve others as best we can, anytime, any place, in the church and probably more importantly, outside of the church. Remember Matthew 5:14 says, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and give praise to God who is in heaven. Let us light up this dark world as we respond to Christ's invitation to follow him. Amen and amen.